Okay. We'd like to call to order the January 17th, 2017 Cabarrus County Board of Commissioners regular meeting. Welcome. It's good to have everybody with us tonight. We are delighted to have with us tonight for the presentation of colors, Girl Scout Junior Troops 1486 and 1581 from New Life Baptist Church.
Color Guards advance. Girl Scout attention.
Color Guards advance.
Color Guards post your colors.
Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Color Guards dismiss.
Thank you very much, and after our invocation, we'll ask our Girl Scouts to come back up and introduce themselves, and we'll have a pin for you. We're very happy to have with us tonight Pastor Robert Howard from Miami Baptist Church for our invocation.
Good evening. Join me as we pray together. Our Heavenly Father, thank you that we have a Father like you who has all power, all knowledge, and who is all loving. A Father who knows every need, who knows our every weakness, knows our every failure, and as recorded in your word that you love us unconditionally at all times. Thank you for the blessings you give us today and your loving watch care over us today to bring us to this point in time. But we thank you for your unconditional love that we can and do experience every moment of our life. Thank you for the freedom that we still have in America, for all of those who have honorably served our country, and for those whose sacrifices have left many handicapped, and some who gave their ultimate sacrifice of their lives. These sacrifices were given to preserve the freedoms that we have in America today. Thank you most of all for the freedom we have in Christ, who gave his life on the cross that we might have freedom from our sins and have eternal life. Thank you, Father, for those who serve as leaders in our county, leaders in our state, and leaders in our nation. And just as your word tells us that we're to pray for those who lead, we pray for these leaders even at this moment. I pray for this group of county commissioners who lead the work for the advancement of Cabarrus County. I pray that they will seek godly wisdom that comes only from you. I pray that you, Father, will guide and direct this meeting tonight, and that all will be done decently and in order and honor you. I pray this prayer in the strong name and powerful name of Jesus Christ, our Savior and Lord. And all the people said together, Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Howard. We appreciate you being with us tonight. And now if our Girl Scouts from Troops 1486 and 1581 would come to the front and introduce yourselves. Tell us where you go to school and what you enjoy about being a Girl Scout. And to my right, your left, Commissioner Honeycutt will have a pen for you after you make your introduction. And please speak into the microphone.
My name's Ayana Greer, and
What school you go to and what you enjoy about Girl Scouts.
I go to Harris Road Middle School, and I enjoy about Girl Scouts the most is being able to get out and meet new people.
Great, thank you.
My name's Simone Harrison, and I go to WRL Elementary 3rd through 5th. And the thing I like about Girl Scout most is the crafts that we get to do.
Thank you.
My name is Ella Fegley. I go to Weddington Hills Elementary School, and the thing I like about Girl Scouts is the crafts and meeting new people.
Thank you.
My name is Natalie Brown. I go to Boger Elementary, and the thing I like about being a Girl Scout is selling Girl Scout cookies.
Thank you.
My name is Taylor David, and I go to Harold E. Winkler Middle School. And the thing that I like most about Girl Scouts is the new people I get to meet and selling cookies.
Thank you.
My name's Octavia Day. I go to WRO Odell Elementary 3-5, and my favorite thing about Girl Scouts is we get to make new friends.
Thank you.
My name is Tamaya Hills, and I go to Northwest Cabarrus Middle School, and what I enjoy about Girl Scouts is selling cookies.
Thank you. And we were just talking earlier today looking for somebody selling cookies. So, yeah.
My name is Kennedy St. John. I go to Patriots Elementary, and my favorite thing about Girl Scouts is selling Girl Scout cookies and having good times with my Girl Scout sisters.
Great. Thank you very much. We appreciate all of you being here with us tonight and doing such a wonderful job. We would also like to welcome tonight our Youth Commission member, Macy Uri. It's good to have you back with us tonight. We also would like to welcome our newest commissioner to his first regular meeting, Blake Kiger, and we're certainly delighted to have you here tonight as well. First item on our agenda is the approval or correction of the minutes, and you all have copies of that before you. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to reflect that I'm going to recuse myself from voting on the minutes since that were meetings that I did not attend.
Okay, very good.
I move for approval.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. And next we have the approval of the agenda, including the changes to the agenda, and we have had a few things taken off and a few things added.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move for approval with the changes.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say no. That motion passes. Next, we have recognitions and presentations. And we do have a proclamation that declares February 2017 as Black History, African American History Month in Cabarrus County. And I will read that resolution. Whereas Black History, African American History Month is the observance of a special period to recognize the achievements and contributions of African Americans to our county, state, and nation. And whereas this observance presents the special opportunity to become more knowledgeable about Black heritage and to honor the many Black leaders who have played a part in the progress of our county. And whereas such knowledge can strengthen the insight of all our citizens regarding the issues of human rights, the great strides that have been made in the crusade to eliminate the barriers of equality for minority groups, and the continuing struggle against racial discrimination and poverty. Whereas, as a result of their determination, hard work, intelligence, and perseverance, African Americans have achieved exceptional success in all aspects of society, including business, education, politics, science, athletics, and the arts. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Board of Commissioners for Cabarrus County, North Carolina, do hereby proclaim February 2017 as Black History, African American History Month, and encourage all citizens to participate in the educational and celebratory events honoring the contributions and accomplishments of African Americans. And at this time, I would entertain a motion to adopt this proclamation.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Next item is informal public comments. We have yellow cards throughout the room. If anyone desires to speak and has not filled one out, please do so now. Right now, we have one card that has been submitted, and this is a representative of the Good Samaritan Society, but I do not have a name. Okay, when you come to the microphone, if you would say your name and address for the record, we would appreciate it.
Hello, my name is Janelle Gingrich Caudill, and I am in Harrisburg, North Carolina. And what was the other thing you asked?
You got it.
Okay. It's such a pleasure to be here with you again. I thank the Board of Commissioners for another opportunity of hearing what I believe to be something powerful in addressing our county's animal control facility. The Society believes that the Cabarrus County governance will provide for the equitable and just treatment of all the animals in our county system and be a moral compass for other counties in North Carolina to follow. So I'm really looking forward to working with each and every one of you, not only to show that we are a caring county, but also that our example can be an example for so many others to follow. The Good Samaritan Society requests that Cabarrus County Animal Shelter, which is a taxpayer-owned facility, to have an open door policy. We ask for visibility of every single animal residing in custody. We ask that rescue be granted for every animal without prejudice, at the owner's risk, which is the owner's liability, not the county's. We ask for shelter staff and all volunteers to work amicably with the public, with rescue and animal welfare organizations. Rowan County, which is a county that I've been working with for the last number of months, is an incredible example of demonstrating the type of rescue consideration the Good Samaritan Society asks of Cabarrus County. It would be fantastic if we could establish a time with their shelter's leadership and ask for their guidance with making our animal control as exceptional as they are. Their low numbers of euthanasia reported is a testimony that they are doing something exceptional and wonderful. Something great is happening there. And I want Cabarrus County to go on the map as being equally as compassionate. I present to you in this packet 3 examples of animals in the Rowan County system. They exemplify the heart of what I'm asking for you tonight. I'd like to ask for your permission if I can give this to you. I don't know who I present it to.
You can bring them up
All
if
right.
you like.
And since this is a public hearing platform, I've included my card with each packet, and I would ask for some members or a member of the commission to contact me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We appreciate you being here. Okay, is there anyone else that wishes to make public comments at this time? Seeing no one, we will move on to our consent agenda. And of course, you all have that before you. All items that we have discussed at our work session earlier this month. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved. Second motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. We move on to new business. First item on our agenda is an economic development investment for Project Fall. And we have several folks from our Economic Development Corporation here to speak on that.
Raise this up a bit. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairman, Commissioners. As always, we appreciate the opportunity to come before you this evening. We have Project Fall that we'll be presenting to you. It is a new business project for the community. Project Fall, we had the opportunity to work with site consultant Ernst & Young. We'd like to recognize them for all their exemplary work and thinking about Cabarrus County and particularly Concord for this project. We think this will be a wonderful project for the community. It is recreational development. Samantha Grass, our new business development director, has been working on this, so I'm going to have her come up and give you all the relevant details. Thank you so much.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Samantha Grass, Recruitment Project Manager for Cabarrus Economic Development. I just want to again thank you for the opportunity to present Project Fall to you all this evening. Sky Group Investment, LLC, it's a division of iFly Holdings, is considering construction of a 6,000 square foot facility in Concord at 7840 Lyles Lane. They would build a new indoor skydiving facility that offers a very realistic and safe indoor skydiving experience. The facility is expected to serve over 50,000 customers annually. They are projecting an investment of $10 million, $6 million in real and $4 million in personal property. iFly expects to enter into a ground lease with a third party, although iFly will remain the responsible party for all property taxes. They plan to create 26 positions associated with this project, and of the 26 jobs, 18 would be full-time positions. Please note that their average wage, annual wage, for those full-time jobs is $40,000, which is above our county average wage. Their investment exceeds the minimum requirements of the Economic Development Grant. The Cabarrus County investment analysis is based on that estimated $10 million projected company investment. We are asking for your consideration tonight of a 3-year grant term, 85% economic development investment. The estimated grant investment for the 3-year term is $178,500. And during that same grant term, the county would net over $30,000. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you have at this time.
Samantha, I have on my notes from October where I think when you mentioned the jobs, I had put like a range of 45 to 75,000. They average out at 40. So I realize that's
yes.
over, but is that do I have that range wrong?
I believe you're correct, but the
Okay.
average was
Average
for the
wage of them
full-time
would
was
be, okay.
$40,000. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then I've got $10 to $18 an hour for instructors. Is that?
Yes, that would be
Okay.
for the part-time and some of those part-time employees as well.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Any other questions, Commissioners? An indoor skydiving facility is not the typical project that we see come before us, but and of course this will be located in the Concord Mills area.
Between the site that they have targeted is between Carrabba's and Bassett Home Furnishings. They're on Lyles Lane.
Right. So do they give any estimates as to how many out-of-town visitors they think they might attract?
You know, we did ask them that. Quite a few in the Charlotte region, then outside, certainly within the state, they do have a lot of hotel room nights, so we were happy to hear that.
Right, and of course, that is something that we all benefit from as well, from the tourism tax that folks pay, that contributes to promoting our tourism efforts here in Cabarrus County, as well as some construction of some of our recreational facilities that we offer here. So, and we have an awful lot of available shopping for them while they're visiting as well. So, I see a lot of pluses. Are there any other questions?
Mr. Chairman, I was just going to make a comment. Somewhere in my travels, I've seen one, and I can't for the life of me remember where I was. But it was very intriguing as you're going by and you see a building that's shaped not like something. It's very interesting. And then there's a big sign out there that says "Spectators Free." And had I had time, I would have stopped, gone in, and watched people do this, because that's how intriguing it was to be able to see. So, I mean, it's something fantastic, I think, to bring people in and have something that's unique. On top of everything else that we have. So I just had not seen one before, and am kind of excited about having one come to our backyard.
Mr. Chairman, I can add just a little bit to that, because I have been in one of those, not physically doing the skydiving, but as a spectator, and it was in Gatlinburg. And one of my friends did that. But I think it'll be a great addition to that area, and with the Great Wolf and all that, it'll be good.
Any other questions? I think that I applaud you for bringing us this type of project, which, and I applaud this board for being open-minded and looking at seeing the full potential of it. Okay, if there are no other questions, I will open the public hearing. This has been appropriately advertised, and so at this time I'll open the public hearing and invite anybody to the podium that would like to speak in regards to this project. Okay, seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing. And at this time, I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion that we approve the Economic Development Investment Agreement, 3 years, 85% between Project Fall and Cabarrus County, and to authorize the county manager to execute the agreement on behalf of the board, subject to review or revision by the county attorney.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? And of course, as we frequently point out, this is not the first time we're talking about this. We've had quite a bit of discussion about it over the past months. Seeing no comments, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. We thank you very much. New business item number 2 has been moved to our February regular meeting. That will be another economic development project we'll be talking about. And we move to item number 3 from Finance, and this is Cabarrus County Schools funding request for new high school construction. And we have some folks from the schools as well as our finance department.
Susan, I'll get it. Yeah. We just, you had discussed this at your work session, and you had asked for additional information, which we've provided for you over the last week. And we have Dr. Louder, Superintendent of Schools, and Tim Louder, who is the Director of Operations or Maintenance and Facilities, right? Okay, I know I get it all. So they're here. If you have any more questions, if you hadn't had a chance to review the information, if you have any more questions or more detail that you'd like, and then we were proposing that if you've got all the information, that we would present, as we said at your work session, that we would present the financial information that's associated with this project, as well as the proposed budget for next year. We would present that to you at your retreat in 2 weeks for you to make a decision on that.
Very good. And as we've had quite a bit of discussion about this as well, and I think there were a number of questions that were asked at our work session. All of those questions have been answered, but I think for the benefit of the public, if maybe Tim or Chris, whichever you feel appropriate, maybe come and address a couple of those questions. And I think one of the questions specifically that was asked was if this was going to be a clone design, and if not, why? I think it would be good for us to hear that from you.
Good evening, members of the board. Thank you for letting us come in here and talk to you. As far as that question of being a clone design, no, it is not intended to be a clone design. The last high school we designed was basically about 10 years ago. It was bid in 2005, wasn't it? And it opened in 2007. Yeah. And so it's been about 10 years ago. And plus the site is significantly different. The site we had before was rather compact and had some topography issues, and this one is rather large, but it still has some topography issues. But we are designing this school actually with a 3-story structure to allow us to shorten the footprint and make it a little bit more efficient use of it. We're also using a concept that Dr. Loudon and I have talked about quite a bit, where we're not having one-to-one with teachers per classroom. We actually have teachers in they'll have a work area that they will have offices in, and then each classroom then will be more highly utilized, more like 90-95% rather than 75%, with one period being a planning period. So trying to do all those things to make that footprint just a little bit smaller in order to increase the capacity with less cost.
I noticed you mentioned something about collaborative space that being a factor.
By doing that, it allows us, to free up that extra 25% of the classroom, and it lets us build some of those collaborative spaces in, which is more conducive to the new learning environment and that sort of thing. Of course, Dr. Loudon, I'm way out of my...
Yeah. So one of the things that happens at a high school, if you have Chris Louder's class, is that one of those classes is empty during the day. So you either aren't using it, or you're kind of shoving people around all day. And so really the philosophical concept behind it is that there's really not an assigned class. It's just, so we have maybe a few less classrooms, but more space that anybody can use. So you could take 2 classes out and be together if you wanted to, or so you're really rotating in and out more, kind of like you think of a college classroom or a community college classroom where there's not an assigned class, but there's more classroom space and then places for teachers to work. So it's definitely one of the, I would say in particular in the past 5 or 6 years, as every school is looking for, where's an area where we can kind of work, and you're using devices pretty much all the time now. So how do I use a device and be able to get somewhere where I can work and get back together? So collaboration is really the main thing that we're looking for. And in this case, it ends up being, I think, the most efficient use of space because of that. So
I guess one of the things that I was thinking about on a recent visit to my alma mater, University of North Carolina at Charlotte, one of my fraternity brothers is a professor there, and he took us to 2 classrooms and said, this is what you remember, and this is the way you used to teach. And then he took us to another and said, this is how we do it now. And it was a room full of tables where 8 to 10 people were around the table, and there were screens and devices. And is that the same?
Absolutely. That's exactly what you're looking for. Is you're looking for an area that, tables that you can move. So we can put 5 tables together if that's what we want to do, or we put 4 tables in a corner, and, 4, we can have a group of 4, we can have a group of 6, so it's exactly what you just described, and that would be, I think, as we upgrade, whether it's at higher education or K-12, that's what you're trying to figure out, is where space that we can manipulate as much as possible.
Right. I think, and I think certainly me and everybody else in the community probably suffers from sticker shock every time we start a new project. And I know that there was some discussion about the difference in the last high school that we built, which was Cox Mill, and this high school, and I think you had some very good answers to explain those differences in prices, but for the benefit of those folks watching on television, if you might kind of run through some of those.
Well, first off, we were very, very fortunate when we bid the Cox Mill High School project, which was our last one. We had the perfect storm pretty much, and our project actually came in about $25 per square foot less than the state average at that time, which was really great for us. I mean, obviously, the county as a whole. What we've seen there is about 10 years worth of change in growth as far as the inflation factors associated with schools. But we also built this school for another 100 students more than we did at Cox Mill because of our growth. We need to make that, be able to do that. So it does require a little bit more of that. However, if we look at it from today's factor, based on the school's bid on the last 2 years, that average was right at $216 per square foot versus the $140 that was bid back in 2007. So it's a significant change. And so if you multiply that times our square footage in today's dollars, that equates to a significant amount, almost, a $20 million higher price tag,
right.
Which we'd rather not see that. Hopefully at bid day we will. This past year, 2 schools bid. One high school, it was for 2,000 students. It bid at $202 a square foot. And then one high school for 1,000 students was bid at $202 per square foot. So the average, came in about $216, $218. We only had 2 schools though in that group. So we haven't got the data for 2015 or 2016 yet because that just compiled that one. So hopefully we'll see those numbers. And we have one bid on the 24th, which will be right before your retreat in Rock Hill, South Carolina. It's for exactly the same number of students. It's going to use the same type of construction with some precast, some masonry construction, and also some metal studs and sheetrock. And so it's a very similar type structure. So we're looking forward to seeing what that school's going to come in at square foot, so it'll give us a little bit better idea to see if we're on task. But we're looking to bid this job 6 months down the road, so hopefully the bid climate will still be in our favor.
Right, and of course, all the numbers that we're talking about now are projections.
Yes, sir.
As I say about much of the financial things we talk about, it's crystal ball kind of work at this point in time. Was at a state association meeting in Raleigh this past weekend. And usually when you get a group of county commissioners together, there's always a discussion, well, what's going on in your county? I don't remember who started first, whether it was me saying, well, we've got a big ticket high school that we're trying to get started right now. And so a commissioner at one of our neighboring counties was at the table, and he said, well, we're getting ready to build a high school also. And I said, so what's the price tag on yours? And he said, $70 million. And I said, for how many students? And I'm pretty sure he told us, Commissioner, 1,200 students. And you're talking about 1,600 students. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting that the 2 prices were so close together, and even though we're accommodating quite a few more students.
Well, we're trying to make it as efficient as possible, but like I say, with the bid climate, the economy's booming, which is good, but it's also bad when it comes to projects for us because, we're very fortunate. Like I say, in 2007, the economy was kind of really flat and going down, and we got it at the bottom of the cycle. Hopefully we don't catch it at the top of the cycle this time, but we hope that the bid market stays pretty flat for the next 6 months anyway.
Okay. Any other questions from any of the?
Just a comment, Mr. Chairman, and that is reference the bid climate and all of that. When the Cox Mill was bid, the climate was a lot different then than it is now. And so that, of course, helped us. We saved no telling how many millions of dollars that we're having to pay for today. But like Commissioner Morris said, the high school that we've talked about for $1,270 million made me feel a whole lot better because the first, I think you said it right, sticker shock when I seen this. Really, $70 million for a high school is a lot of money. But then again, everything else is going up, and the bid climate's going to be different because it's booming. And one of the things that I think that guy told us, that commissioner from the other county, said that there's not as many contractors bidding on these big projects anymore. So, whereas there might have been a time you would have 8 or 10 bids for a high school, they're all busy and don't have time. So that you may only have just 2 or 3 or 4 maybe, and they can pretty much name their own price because nobody else is doing it. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely, and we have a couple good contractors working for us right now. One will be coming off of a project just about exactly the time this one starts up, so hopefully they would be fortunate enough to get a bid out of them. I think they really enjoy working with us and doing a really good job at Mount Pleasant Middle School right now, one in particular. But we do have some pretty good, we had 8 bidders in our last 2 projects, and so we felt pretty good about getting 8 bids. Hopefully that will be the same. Obviously the more competitive, the better for us.
Well, that's what we're hoping. And I had one other. Yeah, on the layout, you're saying this will be a 3-story school. This will be the only 3-story school that we've ever built, I believe, in Cabarrus County. Is that correct?
A.L. Brown's 3-story.
Well, other than that one, and that was
Cabarrus
all
County
before
Schools,
all of
yeah,
our
they're
times. Yeah,
3-story
that was
school.
before all of my time. Maybe not Steve's. I don't know. He went there. But can you just maybe, just for the information for the viewing audience, and I'd like to know myself also about the layout for that. You talk about 3 levels. You got 4 grades in a high school, so how do you do that?
Well, I'll talk a little bit about it. On the construction process, what we're using a public space, and then we're having the classroom space, which allows us then to be able to utilize the school for multiple activities at time. It's designed to allow you to be able to have access just to the gymnasium and then the auditorium and that sort of thing without really affecting the classroom space. And the classroom space is not really broken down by grade level as much as it is by subject matter. The subject matter will have, a floor with areas of wet areas for sciences and that sort of thing, and areas for math, and then English and or the literary arts and that sort of thing. So we allow them to be able to use that. And they will still be stationed with, different grade levels, some separation, but not necessarily individual floors. So therefore, they'll be able to do it. And we provide for circulation, I think, that allows them good access to all the floors during the day.
Tends to be, as we design or as we built schools, when you talk about a Hickory Ridge or a Cox Mill, there tends to be the CTE area, down on this wing, which is where the automotives lab is. You have the art area, which is where the kiln is. There's no different. It's just you'll have CTE, all the CTE stuff may be on the first floor. All the art stuff may be on the first. There'll be an English wing. So instead of you go down this hall for English and this hall for math, there'll be more of, you may go upstairs for math. So not much of a difference, just up instead of out.
Well, I guess if I had just thought about my question just to maybe a half a second more, I would have realized it's not like an elementary, or even a middle school, where that you've got, this is the first grade wing, and this is the second grade wing. And so I really knew that, but I guess I should have thought about it maybe a second or 2 more. But anyway, I just want the public to be informed, because this is a huge undertaking, and it's a lot of money. And obviously, we want to make sure what we do is right. And so I appreciate you being here and giving us that information.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have a couple questions. I think sticker shock is the word of the night, and I got it. I'll tell you up front that I have it. But, it's interesting when you look back, Cabarrus County has a good track record of being pretty kind to the taxpayer in building schools. And I made that argument 2 years ago down the hall on more than one occasion, and it wasn't just a conversation. I mean, we really have done due diligence. I say we, you guys, and I guess what we're hoping for is you just continue to do that. We're looking at what you guys are proposing, and after getting some of the answers to the numbers, some of it does make sense. I do have a couple questions, though. Cox Mill is there's some topo over there, and that's an interesting site, and yet the site work number's pretty small. I wasn't here when we built that, but and the current one's 10 times the number. So can you just expand on that just a little bit? Obviously some of that's coming up, and there's a lot you don't know until you put a shovel in the ground. But with your background, I guess I'm confident that you got a handle on it, but I just wanted to hear a little bit about the site.
Yeah, both sites were challenging, obviously. One had topo and thing, but this one here has got topo and wetlands and a few other things, but it was the only site we had within the general area that we could actually we look for many sites in this area. So the site is going to require some special work. We do have some rock, we know. We're probably going to have some bad soils. We have some wetlands. But the site itself is bisected by a couple streams that exist on the site. So therefore, we do have some wetland issues we'll have to deal with and have some crossings. And the site and the school is going to set quite a bit farther back into the site. So roadway access and that sort of thing is going to be pretty significant. One thing at Cox Mill that was a little different, it sits right on the road. Mm-hmm. And we pretty much drive right into the parking lot off the road, which is good from a cost standpoint, but very, very bad for a drop-off traffic standpoint, because we really struggle at that school right now being able to get people onto that site and dropping kids off. And as I said many times, if all the kids would ride the bus, it would be a wonderful thing. It would probably make our site cost significantly less. But we feel like that, what really hurt my feelings was Wake County just bid one. It was a 2,000 square foot, 2,000 student school, but their site cost was $18 million. That kind of hurt my feelings when I started talking about mine being 10, but we've got to work to that level. We know we have some off-site costs. We are on Weddington Road. I have tried to explain to the fact to the city and the state, just because we're the last person in, doesn't mean we have to pay for everyone else's sins to improve the road work in that area. And I think we'll probably be able to bring that number down a little bit as far as what we have to do off-site. But we do have some utility costs, fortunately no sewer, but I do think that number will come in lower than that. But right now, with not having the full design and not having the full grading numbers and our rock estimates, because our engineering hadn't been able to be done yet, we're kind of being very conservative on that, so hopefully it'll be less.
Okay, well, and you hit on something I was curious about too, and that was shared cost on the road improvements. And I don't know what, I guess that's to be discussed at a later date, or how we go about that. It doesn't seem right that we get stuck with the final bill, but, and you've included a field house. So other than a field house, is there anything unusual athletic-wise other than what we typically would see at a Cabarrus County high school? We have included in this estimate to be a artificial turf field. That's right, I did see that. Okay. That's probably adds about $400,000 or $500,000 to your cost. But then again, in the long run, we feel like that's probably well worth it, and we're looking at an opportunity to try to convert most of our schools to those turfs because of the amount of use they get, because we have about 3 to 4 sports play on those fields, and it's just a rotating maintenance nightmare for us right now to keep those fields up and active and able to be played on. So, but that was one of the other changes. And we're looking at those as bid alternates, obviously allow us to give us, if we do come in a situation with budget issues, we can obviously let those go. Right. We did not build a field house at J. and Robinson. Again, it took us, 15 years? 10 years later, or 15 years later? 17. Yeah. We just finished it this year, and the school's been open since, for quite some. And we did not build one at Cox Mill as well, and they're trying to raise money for that in the school. I don't know that it's going as well as they'd hoped, but we'll see how long it takes them to get one. But we feel like that because of this site and having to have the stadium complexes and the sports fields away from the school quite a ways, actually, because of the features we have on the site, that it would be very difficult to use the school, and then everybody have to move over to that site, and it would be most prudent to have that field house closer to the athletic fields because of that. Okay, and just a couple more, but brief. The shell space, can you just expand on that a little bit? On, I guess I'm not really with you on that part of it either. You hold off, and if you've got an area for it, great, and then maybe sometime later you come back. But if you're close enough to needing the space to build the shell space, just tell me how much more it is, and let's make that business decision. But just explain the shell space. What we have is a 3-story school, and based on the number of classrooms we need and the footprint we have, we're going to use about 2.5 stories of it. And then we have some mechanical on the roof spaces. What we have looked at is, we know that it's in a high-growth area. We do have a limited area to be able to come in and add mobiles and stuff because geographically, just not enough space for it. But we're going to put the roof in anyway. We thought, well, if we just built the shell around the remaining half of that story, it allows us to come back and add about 12 to 14 classrooms by just doing the interior upfit at some time in the future. So basically, what we're paying for is just the outside walls on 3 walls in order to accommodate that much more space. Now, that will be a premium to be paid on the construction day, but in the long term, it will be much less than coming back and we can upfit a classroom much cheaper than we can buy a mobile.
And so I feel like I can do it. Now, we may take a bid alternate to go ahead and upfit that space to 1,850 kids day one and just see what it is. But that way we have a number of what that upfit is. We're not trying to put, because our budget is tight, we want to make sure we keep it as tight as possible by not upfitting it now, because we don't really need the space day one. But then again, we also want to accommodate it at the most economical terms in the future.
Okay, well, and I guess looking at when you get, you're far enough along to know you've got 2.5 story or whatever, and maybe, in my mind, not, if I saw something on paper, I may say, oh, yeah, you're exactly right. So that may be a conversation again for a later date. So, okay. And the two high schools that we got the comparison on, where were they built?
One was in Wake County and one was in Forsyth.
Wake and Forsyth. Okay, great. Thank you. That's all I had, Mr. Chairman.
I just wanted to expound on one more thing on that shell space that Blake was talking about. And you said 12 or 13 extra classes possibly. Well, that number for those classes would be about, 300 students? And that would be in addition to the 1,600, which would put it at 1,900. Is that correct?
It would be a core.
Thereabout.
We're building a core for 1,850, and that would put us up to that core.
Yeah, okay, so we'll be gaining those additional seats versus having to put mobiles out. And I want everybody to understand that. Of course, I don't know how much it's going to cost to upfit that shell space at some point, but I know that it'll surely be a whole lot less in the future if we've got it than if we would have to start from scratch and do it.
Yeah, right now, our mobiles are costing us about $60,000 a piece, plus installation. So they're getting pretty expensive. I can upfit a classroom instead of the shell around it much, much less than that, probably half that or so. So I think it's the most economical way to go.
And because of what Tim said earlier, this is a site that we're not going to be able, Central Cabarrus has got 24 mobile units there now. We're not going to be able, just because of the wetland area and the stuff he said there, we're not going to be able to put 20 mobile units there. So it was the other thing about being able to expand a little bit, especially if you're redrawing lines, which it looks like we're going to be doing for the foreseeable future.
And Dr. Lauder made a great point the other day in one of our construction meetings. Upfitting it now and just allowing people to expand into it doesn't really make us have the most useful use of that space. And also people get really used to having all the extra space for 1,500 students, and when it comes time to put 1,800 in there, they're like, wait a minute here, I don't have enough space yet. So by not upfitting it right now, we don't recreate that sense of I've got more than I need kind of thing.
And I think philosophically, rather we really need a high school in the Harrisburg area, and we need a high school in the Cox Mill area. And so what we decided to do was make a central one and pull people in. Some people are going to be unhappy when the redistricting plans are done for that, but it was the most economical thing we could do. The area around where the new high school is going to be is really, when you compare the rest of the county, is not the highest growing area, but we have right now at least two pretty major apartment complexes under construction. One that was just finished on George Lyles Parkway, and then another new neighborhood right off of Poplar Tent. All of which that comes on while we're really trying to move people in. So the other thinking with that is there some expansion there that's not sitting there today as we design, but it's pretty clear is going to be there in 3 years. So again, we can upfit every classroom cheaper than we can pull a mobile unit in. But the other thing we said in that meeting, I think, is, but if you say that the best thing to do is to go ahead and make that for 1,850, well, then we can, but we're trying to figure out how you guys can do that under what you're going to package in your situations. So,
and I'll make just one more comment. I did go back, and I recently did some work on a school that was hard cost was about $24 million, and I had to go back and I was like, well, God, I just don't remember how big it is. Well, 625 students. So there are some economies of scale, but this is 2.5 times bigger. Well, you multiply 24 million by 2.5. You're pretty close to where, so that made me feel a little better that we weren't totally, way out in left field somewhere. And obviously this board, or at least I will be looking for some VE down the road. I think it's reasonable, depends on how good a job the architect does. They keep everybody kind of in line, there's less to pull out, and that's you guys' job to kind of keep them that way. But at the end of the day, 3-4% maybe at the end, you can figure out with the contractor then in place, a better way to do something to help us out. And, one way to look at it is every dollar that you save there, maybe a dollar for maintenance somewhere else, because the biggest concern I think that we're going to have going forward is when we go back to building new schools like then what do we, does maintenance take a hit like it has in the past? And we've sort of we've got to juggle both of those balls up in the air at the same time, so.
Absolutely. We are struggling also in our plan to, we have schools that are nearing 70 years old, in our system right now, and two of our other major high schools are 50 years old this year, or actually this past year. And so therefore, what do we do? Those are going to have to be kind of put on the back burner a little bit because the growth issue, again, will take the highest priority because we got to have seats. So, it is a tough call.
Any other questions or comments? We certainly appreciate the discussion. I think, when we talk about the shell space, for example, and we talk about spending $60,000 apiece for mobile units, that their effective life, I would imagine, is pretty short, or they depreciate extremely rapidly. And when we talk about making an investment in buildings, some of which examples you just cited that last us for 50, 60 years, it makes a lot of sense to me. And your explanation on the site work that hopefully will come under, I personally appreciate coming back with, you presenting us with worst case scenario and coming back later and saying we were able to realize some savings, than presenting us with best case scenario and coming back and saying, oh, wow, we're going to need a couple million more dollars, So, and I feel like you're doing that responsibly, and we certainly appreciate that.
Well, we're doing quite a bit of value engineering. Obviously, we're in the design phase, and obviously, as we get into the grading plan, we'll make adjustments vertically to minimize the amount of grading on that site, so we can try to make those costs go down as much as possible, and trying to be as efficient with the circulation within the site, to not to build as many more roads than we have to in order to accommodate the traffic in and out of the site. But it's a high traffic area, so again, we're going to have multiple entrances and stuff like that, and we'll have to have probably a signalized intersection and stuff like that. All of that adds up pretty quickly, unfortunately.
Right. In talking, getting feedback from the commissioners, I do think that we're probably going to defer a decision on this until our retreat, which is only a week away or a week and a half away, which at that time we'll have complete financial information as far as our projections, and we'll know a little bit more what the ramifications to our budget will be to proceed with this project. So that does not present any outstanding problems to delay it a week.
It pushes us a little bit. We're tight now, but we'll work with it. We'll work with those parameters. We'll make it happen. That's just what we do. And that's just the way the contractors do it. That's right. And we're looking forward to sharing a lot of information with you to retreat, because we have an update on our 10-year plan, so you can kind of see where we are and where we stand on our growth.
Okay. Well, we thank you very much for being with us tonight. And if there are no other questions, then we will move on to item 4. Thank you. Okay, next item is from Emergency Management, Northeast Cabarrus Volunteer Fire Department Tax Exempt Financing. And we have several people with us.
Good evening,
Welcome.
Commissioners, County Management. The item before you is for Northeast Cabarrus Volunteer Fire Department. I have with me Board President Pat Bergeron, as well as Fire Chief Kevin Kirk. Back in June, the board approved a tax increase for Northeast in order to pursue purchasing a tanker truck. Northeast is moving forward with that, and that's what brings us here before you this evening. Northeast is pursuing a low-interest loan on a tax-exempt basis. In order to do that, there are several requirements that they have to meet, and one of those is having a resolution approved and adopted by this board in order for them to enter into that financial agreement. So if you have any questions for these gentlemen or myself, we'll be glad to try to answer as best as possible.
Okay, Commissioners, questions? One thing I will point out is it is required that that we adopt this resolution for them to do the financing, but the payments for that financing will come from.
Yeah, it would come from the fire department. It does not in any way hold the county liable or responsible for the loan. So it is an agreement that's entered into between the financial institution and the fire department.
Right. Okay, any questions? Yes, sir.
I just have one question, Mr. Chairman, and that is, when we granted that tax increase, the most recent tax increase for the fire district there, and then the one before that, I believe, was targeted, obviously, to reduce the ISO rating, number one, and number two, provide more staffing around the clock at the fire department. And I'd just like to get an update on how we're doing with the staffing part. And has it been long enough to reasonably accept another ISO rating?
It has. We do have the 24-hour staffing, maintaining that with no trouble. And the 2 cents for this truck is going to help reduce our ISO rating. It's going to take us 18 months, 24 months to get there because of just paperwork that has to be done over a time period.
We've seen some legislation just last week in reference to that. Do you remember what it was, Steve? When we were talking at our meeting in Raleigh, something about I don't know if you remember what it was, but it was referring to the ISO ratings for the fire departments or something.
I do recall talking about that, but I don't recall
I don't remember what it
specifically.
was either. We went through so many. It was like 25 or 26 goals of the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners, and one of those goals was to help fire departments, with their ISO ratings. You remember what it was by chance?
I don't remember the exact language.
You can't remember all those things. It was just so many, so much, But
One of the requirements that they have, or one of their difficulties, is the availability of water. And this truck here will help them meet that it's a tanker, correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
tanker.
so this will help them be able to move the water around quickly so that should help them have an impact on their rating. But I don't remember the exact language of the goal.
well, it may help us. I don't know.
Okay, any other questions? All right, thank you very much. At this time, I would entertain a motion to adopt the attached resolution approving this financing.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the approval motion that we adopt this resolution for the fire department.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Okay, next we move on to appointments to boards and committees. First one is the Fireman's Relief Fund trustees. These appointments are exempt from the county appointment policy. Recommendations are submitted by each of the respective volunteer fire departments, and they have given us a list of those. And at this time, I would entertain a motion to reappoint Mike Faggart from Allen, Raymond Blackwelder Jr. from Coldwater, Artie Craig from Flo's Store, Nicole Beaver from Georgeville, Tim Wooten from Harrisburg, Darrell Page from Midland, Betty White from Mount Mitchell, James Sales from Mount Pleasant Rural, and Richard Bergeron II from Northeast, and Jacob Williams from Odell to the Fireman's Relief Fund trustees for 2-year terms ending January 31st, 2019, and to appoint Marty Ritchie from Reimer to the Fireman's Relief Fund trustees for a 2-year term ending January 31st, 2019.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. And we move on to appointments to the Home and Community Care Block Grant Committee. Evelyn Miller has submitted an application to serve on the Home and Community Block Grant Committee and is recommended for appointment by the Home and Community Care Block Grant Committee. I think most of you know Ms. Miller. She was a candidate for county commission in the recent election and addressed this board, I think, at our last meeting. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to appoint Evelyn Miller to the Home and Community Care Block Grant Committee for a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2019. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. And we move to appointments and removals from the Human Services Advisory Board. Kay Scott and Anna Kane have submitted their resignations, and due to other obligations, they are no longer able to serve on the Human Services Advisory Board. It is requested to remove Ms. Scott and Ms. Kane from the roster and to appoint individuals to fill their seat. So I would entertain a motion to remove Kay Scott and Anna Kane from the Human Services Advisory Board roster and to thank them for their service.
Move for approval.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. And I would now entertain a motion to appoint Larry Bonds. And I'll tell you, I've looked over the list of applicants and also checked on the meeting time for this Human Services Advisory Board. And I tried to pick two that indicated that their schedules would allow them to make those meetings. So I would entertain a motion to appoint Larry Bonds and William Nunes to the Human Services Advisory Board for 3-year terms expiring December 31st, 2019, including an exception to the service on multiple boards for Larry Bonds, who also serves on the Transportation Advisory Board. No, I was...
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I hear a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. And we move to appointments and removals for the Juvenile Crime Prevention Council. Juvenile Crime Prevention Council member Benjamin Balcom, Juvenile Defense Attorney Representative, resigned from his position on the council. It is requested to remove his name from the roster. So I would entertain a motion to remove Benjamin Balcom from the JCPC roster and thank him for his service.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes, and of course that does leave us with a vacancy that has not been filled on the JCPC. That is one of the boards that I serve on, and they have, I think, several vacancies, but some of the positions on the Juvenile Crime Prevention Council are targeted for specific folks. One judge, one juvenile defense attorney, etc. But there are also some open at-large positions on that board as well. So hopefully there's some folks out there that would be interested in serving, and we would encourage you to apply. Next, we have appointments and removals for the Cabarrus County Senior Centers Advisory Council. Current Cabarrus County Senior Centers Advisory Council members Thomas Dixon, Norval Johnson, Pat Martin, Ernest Morrissey, and Mary Watts have terms that expired December 31st, 2016. All are willing to serve another term. Mr. Dixon resides in Rowan County. An exception to the residency provision of the appointment policy will be needed for him. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to reappoint Thomas Dixon, Norval Johnson, Pat Martin, Ernest Morrissey, and Mary Watts for 3-year terms ending December 31st, 2019, including an exception to the residency provision of the appointment policy for Mr. Dixon. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I would just like to say I serve as liaison on that board, and each of these members are very active and participating members, so I think they're all good choices.
Great, thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Next, we have appointments to the Cabarrus Youth Commission. An application to serve on the Cabarrus County Youth Commission was received from A.L. Brown High School student Justin Morgan, and you all have seen a letter of recommendation attached to that, so I would entertain a motion to appoint Justin Morgan to the Cabarrus County Youth Commission as an A.L. Brown High School representative ending June 30th, 2018. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. We move on to I, which is reports, and you have a number of reports attached to your information tonight. And we go down to number 6, to receive updates from commission members who serve as liaisons to municipalities or on various boards or committees. Does anybody have anything they would like to share tonight?
Mr. Chairman, I do have something I want to share. I'm the liaison for the Midland Town Council, and thanks to technology and working with the library system for Cabarrus County, we were able to open a mobile library in Midland, and I wanted to read to you an update as to what took place whenever that light opening took up here. It says, the cold weather didn't stop the grand opening of our Midland Mobile Library last week. We had a great turnout in spite of the extremely cold weather. There were approximately 35 to 45 patrons who attended to get new library cards, pick up books that were on hold, and check out DVDs, audiobooks, adult fiction books, and other children's books. The Friends of the Midland Library volunteers provided hot chocolate and cookies for special visitors, and for the Cabarrus County Library staff were kept busy until closing. The next visit is scheduled for January the 23rd, 2017, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. The library staff brought new and popular fiction books and a large selection of children's books and DVDs to choose from, in addition to all the books that had been placed on hold. If you already have a Cabarrus County Library card, then you can log on to the library site and place a book, audiobook, or DVD on hold, and it will be delivered on January the 23rd. There are also drop boxes in the town hall for you to return books anytime the town hall is open. And they hope to see more people there the next time. I felt like 35 to 45 people with all the people getting library cards. It's just helping us expand the service to an area that hasn't had that service. So I'm glad to see us be able to do that.
Good report. I'm very happy that we are able to provide that service. And of course, we all hope that it will grow as well. I will mention a couple things. I serve on the Cabarrus County Board of Health for the Cabarrus Health Alliance. A couple of their highlights for 2016, I think these may have been printed in the paper as well, but the Health Alliance received a grant to combat diabetes The Cabarrus Health Alliance received a Kate B. Reynolds Charitable Trust grant to address diabetes with its Healthy Partnerships for Active Living program. The grant award was $567,395 for 36 months. And they refer to that as PALS, Partnership for Active Living. It's a comprehensive approach to diabetes prevention through advocacy and awareness to address the increasing morbidity rate of diabetes amongst Cabarrus and Rowan County residents. The project will target select churches that serve low-income, minority populations. However, messages will be branded with the national symbol of diabetes, a club circle. That symbol will be integrated into community marketing materials. That is a testament to the good work that they do at the Health Alliance, and they go out and apply for and obtain these grants to tackle some of these problems. Also, during the year, they launched the Network of Care. This was the Health Alliance in partnership with Cabarrus County Government and the Department of Human Services launched an innovative online web portal to embrace health decision-making by providing community stakeholders, families, and individuals with key health information and resources in an easy-to-read format. And I think, like a lot of the things that we do, I'm always concerned that people are aware of this and take advantage of it. But the Network of Care for Public Health Assessment and Wellness, available at www.cabarrusnetworkofcare.org, provides a directory of all health services, a library, an encyclopedia, involves some social networking, legislative tools, national news, personal health records, and more. And so the more that we can encourage people in the community to use that, the more valuable it becomes. The Health Alliance also opened a new clinic to prevent HIV. Cabarrus Health Alliance opened a new clinic to prevent HIV infections. The clinic provides an HIV preventive medication, HIV pre-exposure prophylaxis or pre-EP to people at high risk for becoming infected with the virus. The county has seen an increase in the number of newly diagnosed HIV infections each year. And so this is another service that they offer to help improve that. Sisters in Partnership, which began as a Cabarrus Health Alliance, Duke University, and Cabarrus Memorial Hospital initiative, celebrated its 20th anniversary in 2016. This group began in 1996 as an initiative to train women in the community to raise awareness about breast cancer in Cabarrus County African American women. Its mission is to help equip women with the facts and figures about breast health and help them apply this information to themselves through a network of support. They meet at the Health Alliance every third Wednesday of the month at 12:30 p.m. Membership is open to survivors and others, and all are welcome to attend the meeting. So this is just a small sample of some of the positive things that are going on in our community and the work that they're doing at the Cabarrus Health Alliance. Are there any other reports? If not, I would encourage, as I said earlier, referring to the JCPC, Juvenile Crime Prevention Council, typically has some openings, as do many of our other county boards. And I would encourage folks that are willing to serve in those positions to send in an application. You can address that to our clerk. Usually that information is provided on our webpage as well. And the more citizens that we can get involved in the process and helping with some of these communities, I think we all benefit. And are there any general comments by board members that you would like to make? Hearing none, we do have need of a closed session tonight. I would entertain a motion that we go into closed session per North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11 A3, 4, and 5 to discuss economic development and acquisition of real estate. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. Motion passes, and we are now in closed session. Thank you all.